Did French President Emmanuel Macron knowingly grant political asylum to an ISIS chief? No, that's not exactly true. Ahmed Hamdane Mahmoud Ayach el Aswadi posed as a refugee when he arrived in France in the summer of 2016. He was granted refugee status in June 2017, shortly after Emmanuel Macron took office in May 2017. The President of France does not personally decide every individual asylum case, and even if he did it, he would not have known about El Aswadi's past at the time. The story originated from an article published by Your Newswire on June 14, 2018 titled "President Macron Grants ISIS Chief Political Asylum in France," which opened, quote, "French President Emmanuel Macron has granted an ISIS chief, responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, political asylum in France. Ahmed Hamdane Mahmoud Ayach el Aswadi has been allowed to enter France without fear of arrest, despite the fact that he took part in the 2014 slaughter of 1,700 soldiers in the northern Iraqi town of Tikrit." Express.co.uk reports, videos and images of the unarmed cadets being beheaded, shot and choked before being dumped into unmarked graves were posted online by the jihadists, and quickly came to symbolize ISIS' senseless brutality. End quote. The article is typical for Your Newswire. The site usually takes one or more existing news reports and then adds some untrue or misleading facts to the headline and/or the first paragraph to make it more inflammatory so people will click and share it without thinking. In this case, the real news article comes from Express. Quote, "Iraq confirms, refugee, granted political asylum in France had key role in ISIS massacre." The Islamic State ISIS chief who posed as a refugee to get political asylum in France took part in the 2014 slaughter of some 1,700 soldiers near the northern Iraqi town of Tikrit, a senior Iraqi government official said on Monday. End quote. It notes the ISIS chief posed as a refugee and France initially granted him asylum. But once Iraq sent word through Interpol about his real identity, the man was arrested and locked up and his refugee status was revoked. As Express noted, quote, "Mr. El Aswadi was finally arrested on March 6 in the northern French town of Normandy. He is currently being held in pre-trial detention on suspicion of war crimes and murder in connection with a terrorist enterprise, among other terror charges. His protected status has since been revoked by French authorities." End quote. The fact that such a man could evade detection for quite a long period of time is still bad and cause for alarm, but implying via the headline that Macron knowingly had a hand in it is quite stretching the truth. Your Newswire has published several hoaxes and fake news articles in the past, so anything they write or publish should be taken with a large grain of salt. Their Facebook page, The People's Voice, recently lost its verification checkmark according to a report from MMFA. The terms of use of the site also make it clear they don't really stand behind the accuracy of any of their reporting. Quote, "The People's Voice, Inc. and/or its suppliers make no representations about the suitability, reliability, availability, timeliness, and accuracy of the information, software, products, services and related graphics contained on the site for any purpose." End quote. The site was profiled in The Hollywood Reporter, where it was described as, quote, "Your Newswire, a 3-year-old website of murky facts and slippery spin, is published by Sean Adl Tabatabai and Sinclair Treadway, a Bernie Sanders supporter in 2016, out of an apartment in LA's historic El Royale." End quote. RationalWiki described it as, quote, "Your Newswire, styled as yournewswire.com, is an Los Angeles-based clickbait fake news website known for disseminating conspiracy theories and misleading information, contrary to its claimed motto, News, Truth, Unfiltered, End quote. A while ago we also reported that Your Newswire had rebranded itself as Newspunch by changing its domain name in an apparent effort to evade filtering, blocking. It appears the site has changed back to its old name in the meantime, but you can still see the Newspunch name in the contact email address in the footer. We wrote about yournewswire.com before. Here are our most recent articles that mention the site. Fake news, no evidence Anthony Bourdain was killed by Clinton operatives. Fake news, Melinda Gates did not say we must discriminate against all white people. Fake news, British schoolboys must not wear gender-neutral skirts. Fake news, Pope Francis did not order white women to breed with Muslims. Fake news, Trump not set to legalize medical marijuana in all 50 states.